Hello everyone, welcome back again to Serifki channel. Today we are going to discuss about the noun clauses. As we know that the noun clauses is the part of the dependent clauses. And when the dependent clauses, we divide it for the three discussions: noun clauses, adjective clauses, and adverbial clauses. And today we just focus noun clauses as a dependent clause. A noun clause is a dependent clause that functions as a noun. A noun clause is often part of an independent clause where it can be subject or an object. You know that the functions of the noun can be as a subject, can be an object. And the clause here, the functions of the noun clause here is replacing of the functions of subject or object. Please take a look at here. What the newspaper reported, it is subject, was incorrect. And people once believed verb that the world was flat. Maybe I would like to change like these clauses into the subjects. For example, like the informations was incorrect. What is the informations? I replace into dependent clause like what the newspaper reported here. And second, people once believed the information. And then I changed the word the informations become that the world was flat. So noun clause here is the function, a dependent clause that the functions as a noun, replacing subject or replacing an object. A noun clause can also follow certain adjectives and nouns. For example, we were happy that the semester was over. Or, who first challenged the belief that the world was flat. Okay, remember here, a noun clause here can also follow certain adjective. After adjective happy here, preceded by the noun clause or dependent clause that the semester was over. Or who first challenged the belief, it is noun, that the world was flat, it is noun clause. It is like dependent clause. And then there are three kinds of the noun clause here. The first, you are able to mention like that clause, which begin the word that, if or whether clause, which begin with the word whether or if, and question clause, which begin the question word such as who, what, where, when, or how. WH question. We will study each kind in this chapter. Okay, look at this. Punctuating noun clause here. Don't you ever use a comma to separate a noun clause from the main clause. For example, when you want to write, I am sure, comma, that the address is correct, it is false. The correct one is, I am sure that the address is correct. Don't put comma before subordinator. Second, if the independent clause is a statement, put a period at the end of the entire sentence. If the independent clause is a question, put a question mark at the end of the entire sentence. For example, I am sure that the address is correct. Are you sure that the address is correct? It is not like noun clause like I'm sure the address correct is. No. Or are you sure that is the address correct? It's better to you like you have to change the word is in front of, not behind. Are you sure that the address is correct? Okay. And that clause is a dependent noun clause that begins with the word that. The young filmmaker hopes that his film will be a financial success. You can sometimes omit that if the meaning is clear without it. For example, when I replace the young filmmaker hopes his film will be a financial success, omitting the word that, it cannot change the meaning or doesn't influence the meaning. So you are able to write the young filmmaker hopes his film will be a financial success. You are able to omit it that here. And write the young filmmaker hopes that his film will be a financial success. Or you are able to write the young filmmaker hopes his film will be a financial success. Or that his film is a critical success is beyond doubt. But you are not able to write his film is critical success is beyond doubt. Why? Because there are two kinds of the word. There are two kinds of the verb here: is and is. It is and will be with the hopes. Will be with the hopes. It is preceded or it is attached by the word that. It is no problem. But in the last here, his film is critical success is beyond doubt. It is false. It must be better if the word like that his film is a critical success is beyond doubt. You are able to put that in front of the word his film. Okay. And then that clause can appear in different locations. Okay, I put three kinds of the differences here. The first is like after the independent clause verb, the most common positions of a noun clause is after the verb of the independent clause, where it functions as the object of that verb. Remember, where it functions as the object of the verb. Look at here. The catalog states here. What is the function? Remember, noun clause functions can be as a subject, can be as an object. And here, noun clause here replace the functions of the object. That's why it is called noun clause, because the functions of this clause, it is called an object. The catalog states that science courses require a laboratory period. It is called noun clauses. And second, after certain adjective, that clause can also follow certain adjectives such as happy, glad, proud, pleased, sad, upset, worried, sorry, certain, surprised, and sure. These adjectives describe emotions. You are able to put like the class was surprised that the instructor canceled the final exam. And then after certain nouns, that clause can follow certain nouns such as idea, theory, thought, claim, assertion, statement, belief, notion, and opinion. For example, like when you want to, no one believed Galileo's theory that Earth revolves around the sun. Or maybe you are able to find like a theory or thought or claim. If it is preceded by after certain nouns, please followed by noun clause. Okay. Next, for at the beginning of the sentence, it is like as a subject. That clause at the beginning of a sentence function as the subject here of the independent clause. Like is certain, it is independent. The earth is getting warmer. Okay, we are the noun clause that earth is getting warmer is the functions of the subject, independent clause. Okay, and starting a sentence with a noun clause seems awkward to many English speakers, so they often rewrite such sentences by putting it at the beginning and moving the noun clause to the end. For example, like when we want to create like that Earth is getting warmer is certain, or we are able to change that Earth is getting warmer using it. It is certain that Earth is getting warmer. Okay. Number 1. You want to emphasize what happened, not who did it. Jack was promoted last month. Second, the performer of the action is unknown. The wheel was invented during the Bronze Age. The former of the action is unimportant. Smoking is prohibited on airplanes. You want to be objective, such as in a scientific or technical report with a Drupal 3 milli of HCI were added to the test tube and heated to 37 degrees Celsius. And 5, you want to be diplomatic, that is, you don't want to say who did something wrong or made an error. I believe a mistake has been made on our bill. In addition here that the verb following it here, except be or any intransitive verb like seem or appear. You know intransitive word, the verb cannot be followed by an object. It is called the intransitive verb, like seem or appear. Or intransitive verb you are able to find like the word are not able to create to be passive voice. It is called the intransitive verb. It's often written in the passive voice, especially in academic writing. For example, like it is believed that carbon dioxide is responsible for global warming. It was agreed that the meeting would be postponed until next week. It has been proven that the world deserts are expanding. Believe, agreed, and prove, it is categorized as a transitive verb. It can be changed into the passive voice, but don't put the addition it if the word intransitive verb like seems or appear. You can also write this sentence as the active voice like many scientists believe that carbon dioxide is responsible for global warming. Please compare, it is believed that the carbon dioxide is responsible for global warming with many scientists believe that carbon dioxide is responsible for global warming. Both of them have equal meaning. Note, in general, English writers prefer the active voice because it is more direct. However, they prefer the passive voice in 5 specific situations. Sometimes when we use the speaking one, when we use for our utterance, it's very easy for us using the active voice. But when you use the written format, it's very useful if you use the written to be the passive voice here. But remember, you have to classify the word, it must be transitive verb. Don't use intransitive verb. Next, practice one here. I provide you 10 questions here, and the first has done. Why I say 10 here? The first one is done. Comparisons of the size of and icebergs over the past 100 years reveals that they are shrinking in size. Okay, you try to use the that clause and give your dependent clause or noun clause. Scientists believe blah blah blah. Environmentalists warn blah blah blah. Okay, complete all of them, please. Okay. If the main, we continue. If the main clause's verb is in the past tense, the verb in the noun clause is usually in a past form. So when the word is, when the sentence belongs to the past tense, make sure that the clause verb or the noun clause or dependent clause, it must be past tense. But if the independent clause or main clause, it is like present tense, please change the clause, dependent clause or noun clause into the past tense. You have to create like a equal present, simple present with the simple present. Don't you create like one single sentence contain two kinds of the formula, present and simple past. Okay, here the Prime Minister agreed that the global warming was serious world problem. Look at here, the Prime Minister agreed, it is belong to the simple past, that global warming was a serious problem, a world problem. It is also past. The Prime Minister agreed, it is independent clause, and noun clause here, that global warming was a serious world problem. It is belong to dependent clause or noun clause. And here they hope, it is independent, that all nations would be responsible for finding a solution. It is categorized as a noun clause. It must be passive, it must be simple past, and also it must be simple past. And an international group of scientists reported had risen 1.1 degree Fahrenheit or 0.6 degrees Celsius in the last century. Remember here, the verb in the noun clause stays in the present tense when it reports a fact or general truth. Here, if you find the independent sentence like it is like fact or general truth, you are able to change the word here simple present with the present. Okay. Researchers in the field verify the iceberg and glaciers are melting here. Next, the second hour discussions, we discuss about the reported speech. One of the most common use of a noun clause in academic writing is to report what someone else has said or written. This kind of a noun clause is called reported speech, indirect speech, or direct quotation, indirect quotation. Verb tenses in reported speech follow special rules. For example, like here, if the main clause verb is simple present, or maybe past perfect, or maybe future, or verb in the noun clause is in the tense, they express the meaning that the main clause intends. The Prime Minister agreed that global warming is a serious world problem. Here, they hope that all nations will be responsible. Okay. And for the subjunctive here, for the subjunctive noun clause here, that after certain independent clause, verb and adjective, you must use the subjunctive form of the verb in the following noun clause. The subjunctive form of a verb is the same as the base form be, or go, or come, or do, or and so on. And the verbs and adjective that require the subjunctive form in the noun clause that follow indicate urgent, advisability, necessity, and desirability. For example, like verb, advise, or ask, or command, or demand. For example, I want to create the Prime Minister advise, the Prime Minister insists, the Prime Minister requests, my parents require, I suggest, they suggest, or I urge, or they propose. And for the adjective one, you are able to use the word like advisable, desirable, essential, important, mandatory, necessary, urgent, and vital. Here, how to create it? I would like to use the word urge. The company president urged that the marketing department be more aggressive. Look at here, it is verb, and department be more aggressive, it is followed by adjective, be more aggressive. And after the word is, using the adjective one, not the verb. It is necessary that each salesperson work. After noun, verb. Salesperson work longer hours. And make a subjunctive verb negative by putting the word not in front of it. For example, like she insisted, it is verb, that the company not lose. Don't you ever use, even this is a simple past, don't you ever write she insisted the company didn't lose? No. It's better for you to write she insisted that the company not lose any more customers to its competitors. Or the subjunctive also occurs when the independent clause verb is in the passive voice. That is passive voice. It was recommended that the department not hire new staff at this time. It is a mistake when you create it was recommended, it is simple past, that the department did not hire. It's better for you to write it was recommended that the department not hire new staff at this time. Okay, try to practice too here. Okay, please you write the step how to do it, the practice too. Step 1, like read the following informations, write complex sentence containing subjunctive noun, rewrite. Okay, read first background information here. A tree drought has caused a serious water shortage in the friction news country of a sunny land. Okay, then for the sunny land here, country water department, look at here. Due to the recent drought in our region, the county or the sunny land is imposing restrictions on the water use. Effective immediately, violators will be subject to penalties. Restrictions here. Okay, I try to answer number 1. All citizens must conserve water wherever possible. Okay, and start with the question, what does the water department recommend? All citizens, the water department recommends that all citizens reserve water wherever possible. Look at here, I use simple present. That's why when I answer, the water department recommends that all citizens conserve water wherever possible. Continue until number 7. And write 3 sentences of your own using a different verb or adjective from the chart in the independent clause. Please you try to find the verb or adjective for the chart independent. Write 3 sentences of your own using a different verb, and then you try to find again the list of the verb or adjective for the independent clause. Here, for the previous slide. And for our summarize, we summarize here the type of noun clause here. Okay, you are able to use that clause form from statements introduced by subordinator that can be omitted, that you are able to be omitted, like the Russian president and his wife told the press they were enjoying their visit, or the Russian president and his wife told the press that they were enjoying their visit. Subjunctive, How to construct it? Verb in base form occur after verbs and adjective of urgency, advisability, necessity, and desirability. The President of the United States suggested that Russia open its doors to United States business. Or question clause formed with the WH question. WH words are the subordinator who, where, which, how, and etc. Use SP statement word order do, does, or did disappear. For example, like, do you know who the interpreter for the Russian leader was? So you are able to change. The reporter asked which companies plan to do business in Russia. Omitted here. Do was. And if whether clause, the question is whether or not United States and European companies understand the Russian business environment or not. No one knows if the experiment will succeed or not. Okay, it is like if or whether clause formed from yes or no question and introduced by subordinator. If or whether, and whether is more formal than if or not, may be added. Use SP statement for order or do, does, did disappear. And the last is your turn is make 3 sentences of type of noun clause. That clause, subjunctives, noun clause, question clauses, and fourth is if or whether clauses. I think that's all about the noun clause material. If it is useful for you all, please don't forget you have to subscribe, share, and comment. See you for the next hour material. Thank you.